So, Adam, I don't want to spend a ton of time on TCU. It's been rehashed. It's old news at this point. I just want to bring up – first I want to bring up the atmosphere in Chapel Hill, and you can speak to this better than I can.
Because I live it.
Yeah, because you were a man about town. I, of course, was on the grind, and so I was just basically in the stadium getting ready. So give us a man-on-the-street update for what things were like in Chapel Hill, and then I do want to have like a serious discussion, a short one, about what all that means, but let's just start with what it was like.
It was electric all day long. There was a healthy amount of TCU fans there, so that it gave it that feel of like, this is a big game. Franklin Street during the afternoon was very lively. Went to the old well walk, huge crowd there.
That's awesome.
Several people deep all the way down the walk path. People standing on like stairs and things so they could see better. That was a great crowd. Then everybody essentially just moved right over to the Chase Rice concert in Polk Place. Packed. Polk Place packed.
Adam sent me a picture. It was a packed Polk Place.
Packed Polk Place.
It was Triple P.
People were standing on the grass in Polk Place, Jones.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone understands what a big deal that is. The stage was set up. Chase Rice, former pod guest, did a great job. He played Carolina Can, which you had to have.
Were people singing?
Were people singing? People were crying.
Those people were Adam.
He closed with Carolina Can. Then, boom, here we go. We're off to Kenan Stadium. Just a great crowd. So many people back in town. I mean, clearly this was the game that, like, if you're thinking about coming to a football game, you're going to come to the TCU game.
Sure.
And I think there was some question about Monday night before people go back to work on Tuesday. Will people come from out of town? Yes, they did. And just electric. And I legitimately think at 7:30 there were more people inside Kenan than were there for some games last year. The student section was packed early, which is sometimes a challenge. The regular stands were packed early. Everybody wanted to be there. The way the lights worked with the fireworks, Ryan Schmidt did a great job on the lighting side, working with everybody who was a part of that. Right up till like 8:10, it's hard to imagine it going any better. It felt like a big football game day all afternoon and evening, and it seemed like people were really enjoying it.
Okay, so having said all of that, obviously the performance on the field did not match the level of excitement for the game, and there is no question that the product on the field has to be better, both for Carolina to have the anywhere close type of season that it wants to have and to be relevant in the discussion that we're about to have. So don't tell me that we're not acknowledging that. We get it. But, Adam, what I do think is important about this, and again, these were unique circumstances. It's also true. This can happen. It can happen. The question is, can you make it? Can you consistently make it happen? It's not going to be that level of anticipation, excitement, etc. when Carolina plays Richmond. It's just not. It will be higher than the Richmond game for the Clemson game, but even the Clemson game probably won't be the TCU game in this discussion. But the point is, it can happen. And so I think the challenge becomes, how do you continue to make that as quality a atmosphere as you can, understanding that it didn't go as well as you wanted it to on the field? So that becomes the challenge. And there are a lot of people that were uber disappointed. And everybody was disappointed the game didn't go better. But how do you keep that close to that level of excitement around it while this thing builds, because it's a process of building. I do truly believe that it is a process of building. That's the challenge now. And it's a challenge that Carolina has to take on, that you hope fans take on, that are really invested, and people are invested in a lot of different ways. That's the challenge now for Carolina. But what it did show you is this is doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. Let me also say, Adam sent a tweet about this, about the game day atmosphere, and people were very mean to Adam online. Don't be mean. Why are you being mean to Adam online? Adam, why are they being mean to you? Read the tweet. You even said in there that you didn't know what was going to happen on the field, but that the atmosphere was great, and people were mean to you in the comments, Adam. I would like you to know that I'm sorry people were mean to you in the comments.
Well, I knew that was a risk when I sent it, but here's the thing.
Look, hey, go big or go home.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And what I have found during the point when I was still reading the comments was that many of them were from South Carolina fans. No one's even talking to you. No one's even thinking about you. They never think about you. The number of responses that were like, here's the real Carolina, and a picture of like Cocky the Cock or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Trust me, I don't want that in my comments.
Adam, what's your For You page look like, Adam?
Like, the adults are talking. South Carolina, no one cares. Everything I said in that tweet is 100% factual, and I stand by it today, tomorrow, and always.
I'm just closing my eyes and thinking of a ACC tournament in the Greensboro Coliseum.
You can't execute that type of environment, which you need to play football at the level Carolina wants to play it. And again, as Jones just said, everyone understands the football was not played at the level Carolina wants to play it. That's a different discussion that we will talk about. You can't execute that on all the other game days if you don't execute it on the first day. And I think if you're not a Carolina football fan, you don't have an appreciation for how different Monday was. There was beer in Polk Place. There was a concert with a guy who's had #1 songs in Polk Place 2 hours before kickoff. It used to be a struggle to get a hacky sack in Polk Place.
And you're going to need to weigh that hacky sack before you kick it.
So just the fact that this was done is meaningful to Carolina football. Is it as meaningful as scoring touchdowns? No. Scoring touchdowns is more meaningful and winning the football games. But if you want to have the product that Carolina wants to have, you have to execute it at that level so that you can demonstrate it's possible.
Yep.
Because, look, if you've been to a Carolina football game, you know there was a chance that all this stuff could have been talked about and then not actually done. You know, you've been to games. It was done. And so now the challenge is for Richmond, when there's not going to be as much electricity. We all are aware of that. How can you replicate that in such a way that 6 or 7 times per year you're able to give people an experience where they want to come to Chapel Hill and be part of it, no matter who you're playing, no matter what channel it's on? That's something you have to be there for. And Monday felt like something you have to be there for, which has been the goal all along. If you're going to elevate football, that's what it has to be.
So that takes us to the game. And again, we're not going to rehash. We all know what happened. It's a week later now. We're gonna look at Charlotte. But I just want to say this about the game. I do think this is a valuable game for Carolina in the sense that now Bill Belichick, his entire staff, they all know more now than they did on Sunday about this version of Carolina football. Because A, we know there's a ton of new players. B, they've really only been together on the field since the beginning of August, so 1 month. C, several key players were not in spring. So several key guys had only been together for a very short amount of time. I really do think this game provided Bill Belichick, his staff, information of, hey, this is how it looks against somebody else. This is what we thought might work, but doesn't work. This is what worked better than we thought it would. This guy turns it on when the lights are on. This guy maybe we thought could give us 50 plays. Let's maybe work on 20 plays right now. Whatever it is. Personnel, scheme, approach, whatever. I think it gave you some points of data that you can now use moving forward. So now the most important thing becomes, what do you do with that data? How do you try and now have the best path moving forward? How do you get better on Saturday against Charlotte than you were on Monday against TCU? And then how do you get better the next weekend against Richmond? And so on and so on and so on. I do think that having that information will be incredibly valuable. I think you have to believe Carolina will adjust to what it saw and the personnel that it has to continue to try to put its personnel in the best position possible to be successful. I truly believe that.
Former podcast Ian O'Connor, who has really good insight on just Bill Belichick and the Bill Belichick era with the Patriots. As you know, if you heard his pod interview on January 31st of 2025, wrote a story in The Athletic basically saying people might have been a little too quick to anoint this as this will just be, they'll pick up right where the Super Bowl champion Patriots left off. And they're probably a little too quick to jump off the bandwagon now, because you do have a track record there that this coach knows what he's doing. And we all understand that Tar Heel football fans carry some scars. And what you saw on Monday is something you have seen that before. I think Ian O'Connor is right that you don't want to be too quick to go, oh, well, it's unfixable. I've seen this before. I know what this is. It will be like this. I think there's reason to believe it won't. Most notably, one part is TCU might be good.
Right.
TCU has a good quarterback. TCU has a good coach. TCU was good on Monday night. That wasn't all the Tar Heels being bad. Some of that was TCU being good. And we talked about this beforehand. An angry, disrespected team is very dangerous.
Yep.
And as soon as you heard Sonny Dykes talk as he was walking off the field, you could tell exactly what they had been talking about, that we're TCU. We've been to the college football playoff. We've been to the championship game. And people have been talking this whole summer about this game, and they hadn't said one word about us. Well, unfortunately, when you have a good team and you have that motivation, you're going to probably get a good performance, and they did. So I think TCU's good. It's okay to say that. It's also okay to say, don't be too quick to assume that's the Tar Heels you're going to see for 12 games. It's a very long time.
Yep.
And they have 2 games coming up starting this weekend in Charlotte, where the talent matchup is not going to be the same as what it was on Monday, and you have a chance to work on some things and do some things before you get to the part of the season where you're going to play some games that are going to decide how people feel about this year.